Hey everybody, on today's episode of With or Without Whiskey, we'll be reviewing Chestnut Farms Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Stick around.
Here is this thing, try listening to me. You act like I ain't even speaking, trust me, I've got plenty of reasons why I should be mad.
What's going on everybody? Welcome back to another episode of With or Without Whiskey. As always, I'm your host Ryan, and today we will be reviewing Chestnut Farms Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. So like always, I'm going to be giving you a little bit of information about the whiskey, about where it comes from, some fun, interesting facts I may have found. Then I'll go into the review aspect of the episode, where I give my nosing, my tasting, and let you know what I think. After that, I'll assign it a grade of 1 to 100, and I'll let you know if we're going to be with it or without it. Stay tuned. Chestnut Farms is a Total Wine exclusive and is one of their mid to higher end products. This is a whiskey where I had to do a good amount of research just to find out the bare minimum of this. On the bottle, it says distilled, aged, and bottled by Clear Springs Distilling Company, but there's almost no information about this distillery. I was able to find out that it's owned by Sazerac, and it's actually made at the Barton 1792 distillery. I don't really understand why they don't just say that. It's already an established distillery, so the name alone would probably draw more people to buy this. But to each his own, I guess. They also don't have a disclosed mash bill, so all we know is it's at least 51% corn and has rye and malted barley as well. The only thing the bottle actually tells us is it's Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, which means it's made in Kentucky, it's at least 4 years old because there's no age statement on the bottle, and it's a bourbon. This bourbon is 90 proof or 45% ABV and costs about $60 to $70. All right, let's get into the whiskey itself. All right. So, just a little thing about this one itself is I got this from my dad a while ago, and he really liked it. So, I decided to give it a try. I'm borrowing this bottle from him. As you can see, he's drank a good amount of this. He says he always serves it to his friends, and he likes it and they like it, so far that's a good sign. So let's give it a shot. All right, we'll do the little aeration, spin it around. So right off the bat, you can see that it's got a nice color to it. Light amber, not too dark, but it's not too light either. Get a little more of a close-up. Let's see what we get on the nose. Okay, the first thing I'm getting is oak, cherry, and then some vanilla. The oak is there, but the cherry seems to be overtaking it a little bit, which I don't mind. I get a little bit of those baking spices in there, some cinnamon, some cloves. Let's give it one more. There's a little bit of caramel in there, but it's not too much. So far pretty basic on the nose, nothing too extraordinary. Let's see what it tastes like. Cheers, guys. Okay, so it's got those rye spices up front almost immediately. Like if I had to guess, this tastes like it would be a high rye bourbon. That cherry note I was smelling before, it's there, but I would say it's more tart cherries. Like if you guys have ever had 100% tart cherry juice, it's almost giving off that flavor. Not a bad thing, it's just I wasn't expecting that when I smelled cherry. Okay, there's some oak in there. Like I said, we get the rye spice, like those cloves and everything. Small amount of vanilla. The finish is very dry. Like it makes your mouth feel like a desert. Almost sucks all the moisture out, you know? The oak is very present in the finish, but there's also a lingering sweetness. I'd say maybe butterscotch sweet. Try one more time. Yeah, it starts out spicy and then it evolves into that sweet. Like as you put it in your mouth, it's spicy. As it stays there, as it lingers, it kind of transitions into that butterscotch caramel kind of flavor. The oak is present at the end. It's nothing too complex on the finish. I'd say about medium. All right, let's see what happens when we add some water to it. All right, so we'll do our trademark 2 drops. 1, 2. All right, and let's swirl it around a bit. Okay, the water actually changed that nose a lot. I'm getting chocolate, like dark chocolate on that. A good amount of honey. I kind of lost the cherry in there. But yeah, it tastes like chocolate and honey. I rather enjoy that. All right, let's see what it tastes like. Okay. That didn't really change the flavor. It more or less reversed the order. So without the water, it started spicy and ended sweet. With the water, it started sweet and then it ended spicy. All the same notes are there, they're just reversed. It feels like I hit rewind. Yeah, it starts with that vanilla butterscotch, and then it ends with that spicy burn going down. I never had something that did a flip like that before. The finish on this one is about the same, very dry. There's oak on that finish, and I'm getting the rye spice more, but it didn't add or take away from anything. Kept it roughly about the same. Let's try one more, see if anything changes. Yeah, it's all the same. All right, stick around next for the grade. All right, Chestnut Farms Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. What do I think? So, the nose wasn't too complex. It was all basic bourbon. It was honey, it was oak, had those baking spices at the end, like a high rye. It gave me those vanilla notes, all classic bourbon. The palate wasn't really much different. Again, it was very basic on the bourbon notes. You get the caramel, you get the vanilla, you get those cherry notes. The only thing that this had going for it from anything else was that tart cherry. It wasn't like if you were eating a maraschino cherry like you would get in your cocktails or anything like that. It wasn't sweet like that. So that definitely threw me for a loop, but I did enjoy it. The finish was simple. It was very dry, kind of sucked everything out of my mouth, almost like you were eating a Warhead candy. There was oak, there was some rye spice, nothing too complex there. And same with the water. The only thing the water really did was flip the order of sweet and spicy. So, for my grade on Chestnut Farms, I think I'm going to give it a 62 out of 100. Everything I had in here was nice. It was very enjoyable, but it wasn't really unique in any way. It tasted good. I did enjoy it. I can see why my dad and his friends like this bottle, but it could have been more. It feels like it's just missing stuff. The nose was very basic, the palate was very basic, and then when I added the water, it didn't really change too much. So, for Chestnut Farms Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, I think I'm going to go without it. It was good, but for $60, $70, it really wasn't worth it. If this bottle was $40 or $50, I'd definitely give it a yes. But for that price point, it's a little too much. I'm paying a lot of money for what I feel is not a good return. If you could find it cheaper, I'd get it. If you walk into your local Total Wine and they have it for, say, $50, I'd pick up the bottle. But for me, $60 was a little too pricey on that. Well, that does it for today's episode of With or Without Whiskey. If you enjoyed the video and you had a good time, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button down here. Also, give me a like, hit the bell notification. That way you get informed anytime I post a new video. And also, drop me a comment. Let me know. Have you ever had this one before? Do you like it? Do you think it's not that great? I'd love to hear your opinion on that. Until next time, stay safe, guys. Cheers.